The order is the flow. Joe, you should frame this debate around not letting the perfect be the enemy of the good. The affirmative is a survival strategy for Dan and I in this debate space. As we have moved through this space and we have developed a way for us to survive in debate. Yes, debate is good. They have conceded that in the 2 and R, but the question is how do we survive in an assimilarist debate space, in a liberal debate space that is constantly trying to exclude us? We think that the Wilson evidence provides us a methodology to move forward by allowing us to pose questions that turn a critical lens back on us and our projects, by challenging other students to think about the boundaries among academic disciplines, communities, and discursive spaces, by incorporating disability issues into the curriculum as widely as possible. Yes, this might be linking back into their argument, but I think that the risk of a link turn will outweigh the risk of a link, because what Wilson goes on to say is that we can rethink disciplinary knowledge as a result of this encounter, that we can remake the physical and social landscapes of the university. Those are all direct quotes from the Wilson evidence, which you should read to determine if we have a link turn in this debate. They have conceded that we resolve some small parts of narcissism, some small parts of internalized ableism, that in order for us to have this in order for us to solve that, we have to have a survival strategy, but the app allows us to have that survival strategy. They have also conceded a fundamental uniqueness question, which is that all people become disabled. All people will become Crips, which means we necessarily want to educate them now about what Crip life is like, about what it will be like when they become Crips, so that they can both help us and be our caretakers now, and also to understand the educational implications of their Cripness, which is always forthcoming to them. That does not mean that we are forcing the negative to love everyone. That does not mean that we are forcing ourselves to love everyone. We choose to love everyone in spite of the hate that they might give to us, which is how you can frame the permutation. The only disadd to the permutation that they have is homo-nationalism, but they don't take into account that we are complex embodiments. I am also female. I am also poor. I am also queer. Dan is also queer. Dan is also poor. Dan is also perceived as male despite his gender identity. We can have hope and love everyone and have an ethic of care that the Densing card talks about in order to have solvency for this disadd to the permutation, which gives you 3 net benefits to the permutation, Joe. First is that there's no authenticity test of who is or isn't Crip, or who is or isn't Crip enough in order to be able to resolve. The second is that we have hope. I don't think that they have a very good answer to the Densian evidence about how we turn despair into hope, not just for us, not just for them, but for the high school debaters that we are all coaching, who are Crip debaters who are coming into this activity. We have an obligation to them to make a better community, a better space for them. Their answer shouldn't be, don't come to college debate, you shouldn't do the activity. The answer should be, come and join us and help us to make a better debate community, a community that foregrounds access, a community that understands that the quiet room was too bright for Mark at this tournament. I'm gonna go talk to Donnie and Erica about that, because that is fucking problematic, and I didn't know that that was going on. So even if we have a link, there's a risk of a link turn, which means that the only impact in this debate is assimilation, and either we resolve that impact with our link turn because we remake the physical and social landscapes of the university, we have a better understanding of access. No, it is not quick. It is, as Dan says in the 1A, or unbelievably slow. But if you look at debate 2 years ago, and you look at debate now, 2 years ago when we started reading these issues, and you look at debate now, there has been a shift. We know that the arc of change grows slowly, that there is a slowness that happens in these kinds of changes, but we say that we have a methodology that can move forward, which is actually staying here and being able to talk this truth to power now.
You should extend this warning.
I'm going to extend a couple more warnings on the Densian card. Hope as a form of pedagogy, which is what we will say our Wilson pedagogy is, interrogates cynicism and allows us to challenge the belief that change is not possible. I don't think that they have answered that. I don't think that they think change is possible. I think that they think that we should go someplace else to talk about our issues, which is problematic, because then we can never actually break down those scripts of narcissism. We can never actually break down internalized ableism. We can never tell those who hate us how much we love them and how much we want them to understand our issues. Now, the alternative is the final point I will sit on in this.
It's not us joining them, telling them
To join us. We're telling them to join us. That is the Sievers evidence that discusses the ways in which all bodies will become disabled. This is the fundamental uniqueness question that the negative has not answered in this debate. Now, the alternative. The alternative is going to fail. What does it look like? Where do we go? Will there be access ramps? Will there be quiet rooms? Will there be sign language interpreters for me? Because sign language is the first language that I learned how to speak. Will there be an ability for us to get access to medical care there? For example, I know that medical care is problematic in the world of autism, but for somebody who has a seizure disorder, I necessarily need medical care. Chris and I both need access to psychiatric care for our bipolar medicine. What does this look like? What does the world look like? Debate may be ableist, but it is the only place where we can effectuate change. It is the net least ableist space that we can engage in. Sievers says that we can't speak in those other places because they will always tell us that we are not allowed.